Om Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhi Tamastu Mavet Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजानन महर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे श्रीमहागणपतये नमः गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः उमाकोमलहस्ताब्जसम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्रजं வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹரஹரோஹரா லோகவீரியம் மகாபூஜ்யம் சர்வரக்ஷாகரம் விபும் பார்வதி ஹிருதயானந்தம் சாஸ்தாரம் பிரணமாம்யகம் சுவாமியே சரணமையப்பா வாகர்த்தாவிவ சம்பிரக்தௌ வாகர்த்த பிரதிபத்தயே जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ श्री पार्वती परमेश्वराभ्यां नमः कोमलं कूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचरगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहं कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन् हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरनभ्यर्थितानपि अर्थान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी द्रुममभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजोऽयं श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि वंशी विभूषितकरात् नवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलादरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടുമീറക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചന നിന്നോടായി ഏതീനു മന്യനെ കുമ്പിടേണ്ടാത്തോരു രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കെന്നായി കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ. Good morning everyone, welcome to the class. So we'll do a quick review, nothing from stanzas 5 to 10 of the first Dasakam, right? So let me just, Uma, since you're on, can you do?
Yeah, I can do it.
And then after that, Usha Garu, can you also do?
Yes, sir.
5 to 10. Okay. All right.
Full 10 stanzas சும்மா இல்ல 5
No, you just do it from number 5 to number 10.
Number 5 to number 10.
Nirvyaparopi, I think from there.
निर्व्यापारोऽपि निष्कारणमजबदसे यत्क्रियामीशनाख्यां तेनैवोतेति लीना प्रकृतिरसति कल्पाभिकल्पाति काले तस्यात् संशुद्धमंशं कमपि तमधिरोगदायकं सत्त्वरूपं सत्त्वं धृत्वा तदासि स्वमहिव विभवा कुण्डवैकुण्ठरूपं तत्ये प्रत्यक्षताराधर ललितकला यावली केलिकारं लावण्यस्यैकसारं सुकृतिजनदृशां पूर्णपुण्यावतारं लक्ष्मी निःशङ्गलीला निलयनममृद सत्यसन्दोहमन्तः सिञ्जत्सञ्चिन्दकानां वपरनुकलये मारुताकारनाथा.
Uma, so small. The second line after Sukriti Jana Drisham, there is a pause. Okay, second line. And then, yeah. And then,
Jana Drisham Purna Punyavadaram.
Correct. And then the fourth line, Vapuranu Kalaye. Vapuranu Kalaye. Okay.
Yeah. Sinjat Sansintakanam Vapuranu Kalaye Maruta Karanata Kashtate Shrishtigesha Bahutara Bhava Ke Davaha Jiva Bhajam Ityevam Purva Malu Sidamajita Maya Naiva Matya Bijani Noje Jiva Kadampa Mathura Taramitam Svatva Pushitra Shartram Netrais Shostraisha Bitva Paramarasa Sudam Bodhipure Rameran Namranam Sannidate Satamamabi Purastair Nabhyarti Tanapi Abhyartan Kama Najastram Vidaradi Paramananda Santram Gadincha Ittam Nishesha Labhyo Niravadiha Palaha Parijado Haretvam Shutram Tam Yatya Marti Prajoyam.
Uma, small corrections. And the first line, two thas are coming. Sathatamapi. Sathatamapi. Two thas. Okay.
Okay. Sathatamapi.
Yeah, correct. And then the second line, because we made and the end of the first line as P, right? Purastairana Bhyartitana P. The next line is Arthan. It just starts with the A, not a, I think you said the Pya sound again. The Pya it becomes Arthan. Okay.
Arthan Kama Najastram Vidarati Paramananda Santram Vadincha.
You don't have to repeat. That's okay. You don't have to repeat. You can keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. இப்போ இத்தம்ல ஆரம்பிக்கட்டுமா?
இல்ல you can go to the Karunyat Kamamanyam.
Okay. Karunyat Kamamanyam tatati kalupare Shwatmadaswam Visheshat Aishwarya Disha Denye Jagadi Paradane Swatmano Bijaraswam Svairuchaira Ramanti Pradipada Mature Chetana Sita Bhakya Swam Chatma Rama Evat Atula Gunagana Kara Shaure Namaste.
So the third line, Swita Bhagyaha. There's a Visarga there because the fourth line we removed the is, right? Bhagyaha. Okay. And then the fourth line on the Chatma Rama Eveti. Again, the same logic. The Thya that is there, it gets replaced with Ti and A. So Eveti. Tvam Chatma Rama Eveti. Pause. Atula Gunaganadhara.
Okay. Aishwaryam Shankaradi Swara Vinayamanam Vishwatejo Harana Tejas Samhari Viryam Vimalamabi Yasho Nishprihai Shopagitam Anga Sanga Sadashri Rakila Vidasina Nakwabi Te Sangavarta Tatva Takara Vasin Murahara Bhagavat Shapta Mukyashayosi.
Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Very good. Ushagar, you want to go?
Nirvyaparopi nishkaranam bhajase yatkriyamekshanakhyam Teno vaideti lina prakriti rasati kalpapi kalpadikale tasyasam suddhamamsham kamapi tamatirodhayakam sattvarupam sattvam drutva dadasi swamavihima vibhavakunta vaikunta rupam तत्ते प्रत्युग्रधाराधर ललित कलायावलिकेलिकारं लावण्यस्यैकसारं सुकृतिजनदृशां पूर्णपुण्यावतारं लक्ष्मी निःशङ्कलीला निलयनमृत लक्ष्मी निःशङ्कलीला निलयन ममृतस्यन्द सन्दोहमन्तः सिञ्चित् सञ्चितकानां वपुरनुकलये मारुतागारनाथः.
That fourth line, sinchat sanchintakanam.
Okay. Sinchat sanchintakanam vapurunakalaye marutagaranatha कष्टाते सृष्टिचेष्टा बहुतर भव खेदावह जीवभाजाः मित्येवं पूर्वमालोचितमजितमया नैव मध्यापि जाने नो चेज्जीवाः कथं वा मधुरतरमिदं त्वद्वपुश्चिद्रसार्द्रं नेतैश्रोतैश्च पीत्वा
Paramarasa.
Okay. नेत्रैश्रोत्रैश्च पीत्वा परमरस सुधाम्भोधिपूरे रमेरन्.
Yeah, couple of corrections. First line, right? Jiva bhajam, it ends with a im. So that mityevam that is there in the second line, it becomes ityevam. Okay. So, and then just remember to pause at the various commas, right? So like after Shrishti Cheshta, after Maya in the second line, Katham Va in the third line, and after Pitva in the fourth line. Okay.
Last one, Rajesh Garu.
After Pitva, Netrai Shrotraischa Pitva, and then a comma.
Oh, comma. Okay. Thanks. Namranam sannidhatte satatamapi purastairanabhyatitanapi arthan kamanajasram vitarati paramananda samdram gatincha ittam nisheshalabhyo niravati kapalah parijato haretvam kshodram tam Shakravati drumamabhilashiti vyardhamadri Kshudram tam Shakravati drumamabhilashiti vyardhamaddivyarajoyam.
Yeah, third line after Niravadi Kapalaha, there is a pause, okay?
Yeah. Karunyat kamamanyam dadati khalu pare Satvam dastvam vishveshad aishwaryaadishatenye jagati parajane svatmanopisvarastvam tvayuchairaramanti pratipada madhure chetanaspita bhagyaha tvam chatma rama evatyutala Gunaganadhara Shaure Namaste.
That last line, right? We fixed that again. The thya that is coming, you have to break it. So Chatma Rama Eveti. Okay, Eveti, and then put a comma. Then Atula Gunaganadhara, the next word.
Oh, okay. Eveti Atula.
Yeah, after Eveti there is a comma.
There is a yakaram there.
Yeah, that it and a ya. The it and the ya that you have, see, if you're saying it together, you can say the whole thing like you said, right? So, Tomcha Atma Rama Ye Vetyatula Gunaganadar, you can say it together. But because we're going to pause there, then that you have to break that sandhi. So, it becomes Eveti, Tomcha Atma Rama Eveti, comma.
Okay.
And
Can
then
I try without break?
no,
That is
I want you to break it there, because then if you say without break, everybody else will say with break, right? So
okay.
wherever
Very
we are
good.
putting that, because that is the right place to stop there. So
Okay.
eveti, and then atula gunaganadhar.
Okay. Rajesh. Swam chatma rama eveti atula gunaganadhara shaure namaste. ऐश्वर्यं शङ्करादीश्वर विनियमनं विश्वतेजोहराणां तेजःसंहारि वीर्यं विमलमपि यशो निःस्पृहैश्चोपगीतम् अङ्गासङ्गा सदा विदसि न क्वापि ते सङ्गवार्ता तत्त्वातागारवासिन्मुरहर भगवच्चब्दमुख्याश्रयोऽसि.
Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. The last line again, that pause has to come after Vasin.
Oh, there is a
there's a pause after.
comma. Okay. Tattvagara Vasin.
Very good. I think both of you did extremely well, and I hope for everybody else also you are seeing some improvement between where you were 2 weeks back to now. At least as long as you're seeing that progress, that is good, because eventually you will also become very proficient. And like I said in I think the first class also, remember to put your markings comma without fail, because later on you will then realize that you don't have it, then you can't go back and listen to every recording again to find out where it is. And the reason, like I said, why we are putting those markings is, one is, not everybody can say the entire stanza in one breath without stopping, right? We'll all end up stopping at some point. So when we are stopping, you want to make sure you're stopping at the right point, because otherwise it might just, like you're saying that you're saying some word and then you're stopping and then you're starting the next. It's all in Sanskrit, it's all one sentence. Okay, there is no like sequence of words could get mixed anywhere you want, right? You can say I am saying, that might come at the very end, and then the entire sentence might come in the front. So that's why we are identifying specific places where we'll pause. So number one, you can take a breath. That's one thing. Second also is, in some cases we have to join the two lines, like we saw, like in the next chapter we saw some places where you're joining. So it's also identifying logical stopping points. And then if you're able to understand the meaning, in some cases you also pause for emphasis, like exclamation marks and all those things. You just pause for emphasis. Those are the reasons. Also, another thing is to be consistent with everybody, because tomorrow when you're joining a broader group and doing Parayanam, you don't want to be going off, right? That is another reason. Okay, but anyway, but very good job.
Rajesh Gar, one request. Can you send MP3 just like a first lesson? That way we don't have.
Yeah. I will send it at the end of every class. Don't worry. Yeah. Because last time you only completed one, right? So I just sent for one. Okay. And then at the end of today's class, I'll send for 12 and 14, depending on how much we finish. So all the MP3s are there. I'm just not giving everything to all of you. Then you won't attend the class. So I'll just send you one MP3 at a time. Okay. At the end of every class.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's continue with 12. So we had stopped at the end of the second stanza, right? So Nikit, let's just see. So Srividya Narayanan, are you there from Dallas?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm here.
You can be there, and Sita, you can be a student, okay, for the first time. Yeah. Okay, so we stopped at stanza 2. So stanza 3. हा विभो जलमहं न्यपिभं पुरस्तात् अद्यापि मज्जति मही किमहं करोमि इत्थं त्वदङ्घ्रियुगलं शरणं यतोऽस्य नासापुटात् समभवः शिशुकोलरूपी. So we saw last time how we were talking about this Swayambhuva Manu, who is the first Manu, right? Who is the first ruler of the entire. So Brahmas, we spoke about how this 1000 Chaturyugas are there and how he's dividing it into 14 Manus. Each Manu is ruling over 71 Chaturyugas. So the first Manu, Swayambhuva Manu, is coming, and then when he comes, when he's starting and he's doing his work, he's suddenly seeing that the earth has been displaced. So of course he goes to his creator, which is Brahma himself, and Brahma is also sitting and contemplating, right? He's thinking, this has not happened before, right? How this is not the appropriate time, because we spoke about pralaya happening at certain times, and this was not the time for the pralayam. And also it is not just pralayam, the earth itself was displaced and it was going to the bottom of the Garbhodaka ocean, which is near the Patala region. So Brahma is also contemplating. So anytime he doesn't know what to do, the first thing he does is he goes and meditates. So that's what he does. He says, Kimaham Karomi. He says, I don't know what to do. So he's then meditating on the Lord. So just as he was meditating on the Lord, at that time, from that person who is devout, Sharanam Yathosya, one who is committed himself to devoting, from his nasa putat, from his nostril, comes out a Shishu Kola Rupi. Shishu means a baby, Rupi, baby or infant. Rupi means fawn, Kola means a bear, a boar, B-O-A-R, boar. So from his nose, from that Brahma's nose who's meditating on you, suddenly emerges from his nostril a small boar. You are coming in the form of a small boar. That's what is happening in 3. So ha ha vibho jalamaham nyapibham purastat. Put a it at the end of that line and a comma. Next line, da that you have becomes a. Adyapi majjati mahi kimaham karomi. Ha ha vibho jalamaham nyapibham purastat. Adyapi majjati mahi kimaham karomi. Srivijay, go ahead. Yeah.
Ha ha vibho jalamaham nyabibam purastat tatyabhimajjati mahikimaham karomi.
The second line, first word is adhyapi, because you put the it at the, you put it at the end of the first line, right? So second line becomes a.
Yes. Okay. Ha ha vibho jalamaham nyabibam purastat adhyabhimajjati mahi kimaham karomi.
Aha vibho jalamaham nyapibam purastat adyapi majjati mahi kimaham karomi. Ha ha vibho jalamaham nyapibam purastat adyapi majjati mahi kimaham karomi.
Ittam twadangri yugalam sharanam yathosya, and then you put a plus. So here we're going to say the lines 3 and 4 together, because it is telling from yathosya, from that person's nasa putat, nostril, right? So that logically those two sentences come together. That's the reason where we will not pause, and then we'll actually put a plus and join lines 3 and 4 together here. So ittam twadangri yugalam sharanam yatosya, put a plus, nasa putat samabhavaha, is there, put a ish, samabhavash, shishu kola rupi. Ittam twadangri yugalam sharanam yatosya nasa putat samabhavash shishu kola rupi.
Ittam tvatangri yugalam sharanam yatosya nasa putat sambhavas sisukola rupi.
Sha, sorry, and the last line, sha, shishu kola rupi.
Shishukola rupi. Ittam tvatangri yugalam sharanam yadosya nasa putat sambhavas shishukola rupi.
Ittam twadangri yugalam sharanam yatostasya nasa putat sambhava shishukala rupi.
And then the last line, samabhavash.
Samabhavash nasa putat samabhavash shishukala rupi. Ittam twadangri yugalam sharanam yato tasya nasa putat samabhavash shishukala samabhava shishukala rupi.
Shishu kola rupi. Shishu kola rupi.
Shishukola rupi.
Stanza 4. Angushtamatra vapurut patitah purastat bhuyota kumbi sadrushas samajrumbhatastvam abre tata vidamudiksha bhavantamuchaihi vismeratam vidiragat sahasunu bisvaihi. So this boar, which was the origin, when the boar came out of nasa putat, from Brahma's nostrils, it was only angushta matra. Angushta means like your thumb. it was only the top portion of the thumb. That was the size, because that's the only way it can, from the nostril size it can come, right? It came in as a really small portion that actually came from the nostril of Brahma. So as Brahma was observing as to what is this board that has suddenly come out of my nose, then it suddenly started growing in size. It started growing in size, and first it became the size of an kumbi, which means the size of an elephant. It started growing in size. So then you started growing again. So Brahma, who is then sitting there with all of his mind born children like Marichi and all the other sages, right? And of course with Swayambhu, Manu and everything, they are all kind of wonderstruck, because Vismeratam, they're all wondering with awe, how is this thing suddenly growing up in size, and what is this as well? Angushta Matra Vapurut Patitaha is there, put a F, Patitaf Purastat, comma, Bhuyota Kumbi Sadrishaha is there, put a is, Sadrishas Srama Jrimbhatastvam. Again, if any of you have any doubt as you are breaking it or something, you can please pause and ask me. So,
Can you repeat,
yeah,
Rajesh Gar, one more time, that
sure.
one line?
Yeah, so first line, Angushta Matra Vapurut Patitaha, put a F to join, Patitaf Purastat, comma, Bhuyota Kumbi Sadrishaha, put a is, Sadrishas Srama Samajrimbhatastvam.
Okay, thanks.
Angushtamatra Patitaf Purastate Bhuyota Kumbi Sadrishas Samajrimbhatastvam.
Angushtamatra Purastate Bhuyo Kumbi Sadrusa Samrajam Padastu. Angushtamatra Padita Purastate Bhuyota Kumbi Sadrusa Samrajavad Padastu.
And the last word, Samajrimbhatastvam.
Samajrimbhatastvam.
Yeah.
No, ஒரு தடவை சொல்லுங்க.
And Bhuyota Kumbi Sadrishas Samajrimbhatastvam.
Astvam.
Angushta Matra Vapura Patif Purastat Bhuyota Kumbi Sadrisha Samajrimbhatastvam. Angushta Matra Vapura Patita Purastat Bhuyota Kumbi Sadrisha Samajrimbhatastvam.
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 Abhre Tatha Vidam Udikshya Bhavantam Uchchaihi. Put a visarga at the end of that line and put a comma. Bhavantam Uchchaihi. Next line on top of, I'm going to tell in Sanskrit, but you'll have to fix it for your language. On top of that V, you'll have a ir, right? If you have an ir, then you remove that off. It just becomes Vismeratam. Okay, so a visarga at the end of the third line, Bhavantam Uchchaihi, comma, Vismeratam Vidiragat Saha Sunubihi. Again, put the is to join, Sunubis Swaihi. So like we said, anytime there's a visarga, unless you're pausing at that visarga, then you say that visarga, right? Or when a ksha is coming later, in which case we'll let you know. Otherwise, majority of the time the visarga is coming, I will tell you what the joining letter is to put in between those two words, okay? So because sa is coming later, it becomes is, Sunubis Swaihi. Abhre tata vidamudiksha bhavantamuchchaihi Vismeratam vidiragat sahasunubhisvaihi.
Abhre tatha vidamudikshya bhavandamuchchaihi Vismeratam vidirakat saha Sunubhisvaihi. Sunubhisvaihi. Abhre tatha vidamudikshya bhavandamuchchaihi Vismeratam vidirakat saha Sunubhisvaihi.
अभ्रे तथा विदं मुदिक्षे भवनतमुच्चैः विश्वमेत्रं विधिरगत्सः सुनुभिः स्वै.
And the fourth line, first word, Visme Ratam.
विस्मेरतम् अभ्रे तथा विदमुदिक्ष्य भवनतमुच्चैः विस्मेतरं विधिरगत्सः सुनुभिः स्वैः.
And the Sunu Bihi, Sita, you just put the is to join. Sunu Bis Swaihi. So you just put the is, add a is there, yeah.
सुनुभिः स्वैः.
Stanza fine.
Sir,
Kosa. Sorry, go ahead.
Angustamatra Opurat Patitaha or Patitaf?
Patitaf, F. Patitaf.
Okay. Thank you.
कोसावचिन्त्य महिमा किटिरुत्थितो मे नासा पुटात् किमु भवेदजितस्य माया इत्थं विचिन्तयति धातरि शैलमात्रः सद्यो भवन् किल जगर्जितघोरघोरम्. So then, like we were discussing, Brahma and his sons, right? So he has this, Marichi and the Kumara, Sanat Kumaras and Manu. They're all sitting and debating because they're all sitting. First of all, they're in awe and in wonder, and they're kind of discussing is first of all what is this that has come out of my nostril, right? Brahma's nostril, and then they're thinking this nostril when he first came out. I mean, this boar first came out. It was only the size of the tip of my thumb, and suddenly it is becoming bigger and bigger in size and becoming the size of the elephant, and then it's actually going up. So this is really kosa achintya mahima. This is not something normal, right? This is something of inconceivable glory. We don't know what it is, and then they're beginning to wonder: is this bhaved ajitasya maya? Is this the maya of the Supreme Lord that is actually happening right in front of our eyes, that we are not able to conceive what is actually going on? So as they were thinking about and wondering what is happening, you, O Lord, like I said, Bhattaripad, will always use the word you here, entire Narayaneeyam, because any avataram that comes, he says it is you. Brahman, which he already said in the stanza 1, is Krishna, right? So he said it's you who is then coming in this form. He says you then start growing in size. So first you were in the form of Angushta, then you became the elephant size, and you started becoming a mountain or bigger and bigger size, and then eventually you were in the sky, and then you emitted a terrifying roar. So Jagarjita means to a roar. Ghora Goram means which is very terrific or very loud, right? A loud roar you emit. So Kosa Vachintya. So this one you have to kind of say it together. You can't quite break the words. So Kosa Vachintya Mahima Kiti Ruttito me, comma Nasa Putat Kimu. The next word, again, I'll break it for people who want to break it. Otherwise, you can say it together. If you want to say it together, you say Bhaveda Jitasya. You can say it together. Bhaveda Jitasya. Or if anyone wants to break it for simplicity, it's Bhaved Ajitasya Maya. Okay, it and then Ajitasya Maya. Kosa Vachintya Mahima Kitiruttito me Nasa Putat Kimu Bhaveda Jitasya Maya.
कोसा वसिन्ध्य महिमा किटिरुत्थितो मे नासा पुडात् किमु भवेद जिजस्य माया कोसा वसिन्ध्य महिमा किटिरुत्थितो मे नासा पुडात् किमु भवेद जिजस्य माया
कोसा विचिन्तया महिमा कितिरुत्थितो मे नासा पुटत् किमु भवेज्जस्य माया कोसा विचिन्त्य महिमा कितिरुत्थितो मे नासा पुटत् किमु भवेज्जस्य माया.
But Kimu Bhavedajitasya, and the word, can you repeat?
Bhavedajitasya maya.
Itam Vichintayati Dhatari Shaila Matraha, comma Sadyo Bhavan Kila Jagarjita Ghora Ghoram. Ittam Vichintayati Dhatari Shaila Matraha Sadyo Bhavan Kila Jagarjita Ghora Ghoram.
इत्थं विसन्धयति तादरि शैलमात्रः सत्यो भवन् किल जगर्जित घोरघोरम् इत्थं विचिन्तयति दादरि शैलमात्रः सत्यो भवन् किल जगर्जित घोरघोरम्
इत्थं विचिन्तयति दातरि शैलमात्रः सद्यो भवन किल जगर्जितघोरघोरम् इत्थं विचिन्तयति धातरि शैलमातरः सद्यो भवन किल जगर्जितघोरघोरम्.
Stanza 6. Tam te ninadamupakarnya janastapasthaha satyasthitascha munayo nunuvurbhavantam tatstotra harshulamanaः parinadya bhuyah tohyashayam vipulamurtiravatarastvam. So again, now we have to start in some of these things. You have to start imagining, right, of the size, because it's not easy to explain, because what is going to happen at the end, right, to give you a context, and this is going to come in the last stanza, but I'll say that now so you get an idea, is that entire earth is going to be at the tip of the tusk of the boar. Okay, so that is the size of the boar that you have to kind of or contemplate on what the size could be. So here anyway, when the Ghora Ghoram, when that loud noise came, then it was heard all over the, like we said, there are 14 worlds, 14 layers of worlds, right? So in the all the way from all the sages who are sitting in the Satyaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, they all started hearing the reverberating sound that was actually coming out. But however, they were not frightened with it, because all they knew the sound which they have never heard before. They somehow felt that it was some divine sound that was actually getting emitted, although it was a terrifying sound that is happening. So when this is happening, and then they all start praising you, and then the praise that they do of the Varaha Avataram actually comes only in the 13th chapter. But anyway, so they all praise them, and then you start assuming a bigger and bigger form, and you start going, because Brahma is sitting in the Satya Loka, which is in the topmost Loka, and this is in the Garbhodaka ocean, which is almost in the bottom, almost in the 13th and the 14th world, right? The levels of the world. So you then start diving in all the way from the Satya Loka, you start going down the Andam there. So Tam te Ninadam Upakarnya, if you want to break it, Ninadam Upakarnya Janas Tapaha is there. So you have to put the is again. Janas Tapastaha and then a comma. So two is sounds coming there. Janas Tapastaha, comma. Satyasthithascha Munayo Nunuvur Bhavantam. Tam te ninadamupakarnya janastapasthaha satyasthitascha munayo nunuvur bhavantam.
तं ते निनादम् उपकर्ण्य जनस्तपस्ताः सत्यस्थिताश्च मुनयो नुनुवुर्भवन्तम् तं ते निनादम् उपकर्ण्य जनस्तपस्ताः सत्यस्थिताश्च मुनयो नुनुवुर्भवन्तम्
तं ते निदादमुपकर्ण्य जनस्तपस्तः सत्यस्थिताश्च मुनयो नुनुवुर्भुवन्तम्.
And the first line, Sita, is tapastaha. Okay.
तं ते निदादमुपकर्ण्य जनस्तपस्ताः सत्यस्थिताश्च मुनयो नुनुवुर्भवन्तम्.
Tat stotra harshula manaha, put a F, manaf, parinadhya bhuyaha. So put a visarga at the end of that line and comma, bhuyaha. Next line, if you have a is at the beginning of that line, that goes away. Then it becomes toyashayam vipula. The next word, I'll break it into two if you want to. One is murtir avatharastvam, if you want to break it, or you can say it together, murtiravatharastvam. Okay. Tatstotra harshulamana parinadya bhuyah tohyashayam vipula murtiravatharastvam.
स्तोत्र हर्षुलमनः हर्षुलमनाः परिणत्य भूयात् तोयासयं विपुल मूर्तिरवास्त्रस्त्वम्.
So Srividya, on the third line, right? The manaha, you put a F to join. Okay, letter F. So manaf it becomes if sound. Okay. And then the end of the line is bhuyaha. You say put a visarga there. Bhuyaha, comma, and then toyashayam. Yeah.
तत्स्तोत्र हर्षुमना परिणत्य भूयः दोयासयं विपुलमूर्तिरवादरस्त्वम्.
तत्स्तोत्र हर्षलमनः परिणत्य भूयः स्तोत्रयास्यं विपुलमूर्तिरपादस्वरं पातरस्त्वं.
And again, and the bhuyaha it becomes at the end of that line. Next line is goes away. So toyashayam. Okay.
Okay. Tatstotra harshulamanaha parinatya bhuyaha toya yasyam vipulamurtiravarastvam. Vatarastvam.
Stanza 7. ऊर्ध्व प्रसारि परिधूम्र विधूत रोमा प्रोत्क्षिप्त वालदिरवांग मुख घोर घोणः तूर्ण प्रदीर्ण जलदः परिघूर्ण दक्षिणा स्तोत्रन् मुनीन् शिशिरयन्न बतेरि तत्त्वम्. So like we said, as you are going now, you have to start, they start describing you, right? So when they start describing you as to how you are, the size of you and how you are looking as you are piercing through the various lokas, right, and going down. So one they said is the color was dark red, so dark reddish in color, right? And then you are, as you are going up down with your hair, like, because it's a boar, right? So you kind of have to imagine like some, erect hair is getting erect and standing all over the board, is completely covered with hair and it's dark red in color. And then the nose of it, right, the snout of it is pointing down because the whole thing is actually going down, right? Like we said, from the Satyaloka it's going down, and the eyes are rolling because that's just kind of showing that ferociousness, right? Because it's going to go actually fight against Hiranyaksha, the Asura who has displaced it. So it is with the rolling eyes, with the dark red skin, with hair standing, with your snout looking down, you're going down, and then the tail is lifted up. So that is how you're actually going, and then you're piercing through this, and all the sages are praising. Like we said in the next chapter, there, if you all have your book, you can actually refer to it. I'll just point you to which one it is. So in the next chapter, Dasakam 13, if you have the book, you can look. The 9th stanza is where they actually describe, they compare this, the body of the Lord to a yajna. They say how each part of the body, so because it's called Yajna Varaha Murti, that is another name, right? Because it is, so Varaha Avataram is what we are seeing. This is also called a Yajna Varaha Murti because the yajnam, the various things which are required to perform the yajnam, they compare the body parts of the Lord to the various things, the ladle in which you put it, so all the sacrificial ingredients, right? So the vessel in which all the remains are kept, they compare all of that, and that's what is happening in the next Dashakam though. But anyway, they're all praising you as you are kind of piercing through this. Urdhva prasari hari dhumra vidhuta roma, comma, protkshipta valadhiravang. So this is a little bit of a tongue twister, so I'll say it slowly. Valadhiravang, ing sound, mukha ghora ghonaha. Urdhva prasari paridhumra vidhuta roma protkshipta valadhiravang mukha ghora ghonaha.
ऊर्ध्व प्रसारि परिधूम्र विधूत रोमा प्रोत्क्षिप्त वालतिरवाङ्मुख कोनः. ऊर्ध्व प्रसारि परिधूम्र विधूत रोमा प्रोक्षिप्तवालधिर वाङ्मुखकोरकोणः
ऊर्ध्वप्रसारि परिधूम्र विदुररोमा
Vidhuta.
विदूत ऊर्ध्वा प्रसारि परिधूम्र विदूतरोमा प्रोक्षिप्त वलदिरावान् मुखघोरगोणः ऊर्ध्वा प्रसारि परिधूम्रवि दूतरोमा प्रोक्षिप्त वलदिराव्यङ्ग मुखघोरगोणः
Turna, Pradirna, Jaladaha, put a F, Jaladaf, Pari, Ghurna, Dakshna, Iksh sound, Dakshna, comma, Stotrun, so this is like a double R coming there, Stotrun, Munin, Shishira Yenna Vatherita. So this one you cannot quite break it into, so you have to kind of say the whole word together. So Shishira Yenna Vatherita Tvam. Okay, so that wherever possible, I'll try to break the word so you can put marking and keep, but some words you cannot break it. So because Shishirayan Avateritatvam, so you can't quite say it that way. Turna Pradirna Jaladah Parighurna Dakshna Stotrun Munin Shishirayan Avateritatvam.
दूर्नप्रदीर्न जलदः परिपूर्ण दक्षिणा स्तोत्रुन्मुनीन् शिशिरयन्नववधेरितत्वम् दूर्नप्रदीर्न जलदः परिपूर्ण दक्षिणा स्तोत्रुन्मुनीन् शिशिरन्नववधेरितत्वम्.
So that word, right? That last line, and it's double na there, right? Shishirayanna Vatherithatvam.
शिशिरयन्नवधेरितत्वम्
तूर्न प्रतीर्णा जलदः परिगुरन
Dakshna.
दक्षिणा स्तोत्रन् मुनीन् शिशिरयन्न वतेरिता त्वम् तूर्न प्रदार्न जलदः परिगुणदाक्षिण स्तोत्रन् मुनीन् शिशिरयन्न वतीरता त्वम्.
Stanza in. Antarjalam tadanu sankulanakrakram bhramyattimingilakulam kalushormimalam avishya bhishanaraveena rasatalastan akampayan vasumatim agaveshayastvam. So like we said, right? So, and I'll send you an image after the class, right, of the 14 verse, which is the Virat Purusha form as well. So like the base, the middle is the earth planet Bhuloka, which is the earth planetary system. So each of this is not one planet, right? It's an entire planetary system which is there. So the earth level planetary system is the middle Bhuloka. So below that there are 7 lokas, above that there are 6 lokas, and the topmost on the 6th one is the Satya Loka, which is where Brahma is there. And then that's where it started, because that's where this Swayambhuva Manu actually goes, right, where Brahma is meditating all the time. So the next lokas, which starts with Athala, Vithala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. Those are the various lokas which are there. So here you can see Rasathalastan, he's saying. So the second most from the bottom. So which is like the 13th world from the, if you look from the count from the top. So you then, when you in that form, you're going and you're piercing through all these worlds, and you're entering into the Garbhodaka ocean, which is there at the 13th world at the end of Rasatala. So all the inhabitants who are the various species of beings who are there, they're all getting terrified, because this is something which is never seen before, and this giant form is now coming through into their worlds. And then there you're going and looking for Vasumatim. Vasumatim means the earth. So Mother Earth, so you're going there looking for Mother Earth, which has been displaced and kept there. Antarjalam tadanu sankula nakra chakram, comma, bhramyat timingila kulam kalushor mimalam. Antarjalam tadanu sankula nakra chakram bhramyat timingila kulam kalushor mimalam.
अन्तर्जलं तदनु सङ्गुलनक्रचक्रं भ्राम्यत्तिमिङ्गिलकुलं कलुषोर्मिमालम् अन्तर्जलं तदनु सङ्गुलनक्रचक्रं भ्राम्यत्तिमिङ्गिलकुलं कलुषोर्मिमालम्
अन्तर्जलं तदनु सङ्कुलनक्रचक्रं भ्रम्यातिमिङ्गिलकुलं कलुषोमिमालम् अन्तर्जलं तदनु सङ्कुलनकरचक्रं भ्रम्यातिमिङ्गिलकुलं कलुषोरिमिमालम्
Avishya bhishana ravena rasatalastan. Put a in at the end of that line. Rasatalastan and then a comma. Next line, that na that you have na kampayan, right? That na goes away, it becomes a kampayan. The next word I'm going to break it. Vasumatim aghavesha yes tvam. If you want to break it, Vasumatim aghavesha yes tvam. Avishya bhishana ravena rasatalastan akampayan Vasumatim aghavesha yes tvam.
आविश्य भीषणरवेन रसाधलस्तान् आगम्पयन् वसुमती अगवेशयस्त्वम् आविश्य भीषणरवेन प्रसादलस्तान् आगम्पयन् वसुमतीमग अगवेशयस्त्वम्
आविश्य भीषण रावेन रसतलस्तान् आकम्पयान् वसुमतीम् अगवस्य यस्तवम् अगवेशयस्त्वम् आविश्य भीषण रावेन रसतलस्तान् आकम्पयान् वसुमतीम् अगवेशयस्त्वम्.
Okay, we'll just switch halfway. Sundari, can you be a student if you're on? And Lata, you can be a student. Okay. Stanza 9.
ராஜேஷ் நான் ப்ராபபிலி இன்னொரு 8:30 அப்படி லாக் ஆஃப் பண்ணிடுவேன் ராஜேஷ்.
Okay, no worries.
Rajesh, can I ask you a question? Sorry, I have a doubt. Vasumatiya?
Vasumatim. See, Vasumati is the earth, right?
Okay.
But in Sanskrit, when you say when you're saying looking for the earth, right? When you say for, then it's still the Vasumati remains. The im is coming. Vasumatim means for looking for earth. Akampayan Vasumati means I'm looking for the earth, but the Vasumati is earth, just earth.
Okay, but you say Tim, right?
Yeah. Here you have to say Tim because you're looking for the earth.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So no worries, Lata. So either Radha Garu or Lakshmi, one of you want to be students, or you're not yet comfortable since it's your first class today. Radha Garu, how about you?
Where we are reading it, can you please guide me which page we are in?
No, I don't have the page number, but did you print it out? If you haven't printed it out, it's going to be tough.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, I think you missed the first class. You should print out and keep whatever chapters I'm telling, because we are going to be making edits, right? So it'll become tough otherwise. Okay. The next class. Yeah, Radha Garu, how about you? Radha, you're on mute. Or no, Matangi, you can be a student. You haven't been a student, so if you're back home.
Yeah, I'm home.
Okay. All right. So stanza 9. दृष्ट्वा तदैत्यहतकेन रसातलान्ते संवेशितां झटिति कूटकिटिर्विभो त्वम् आपातु कानविगणय्य सुरारिखेटान् दंष्ट्राङ्कुरेण वसुधाम् अदता सलीलम्. So like we spoke about, so then after seeing the drishtva, after seeing that this Asura Hiranyaksha has actually put the earth at the bottom of Rasatala, again Vasumad, here it's coming Vasudham, which is also the same thing, the earth which has been put at the bottom of the Garbhodaka ocean, you then dive in and then you take that earth at the tip of your tusk. So Damshtra Ankurena, which means the tip of your tusk of the boar, you take the earth, and as if you're just playing a sport, right? He says as if salilam, as if it is nothing great, you're just going and just diving in, you see the earth and you just take it up as if you are playing a sport with the tip of your tusk, and then you start to come up, right? And then the Hiranyaksha is there, so he is beginning to attack you, but you neglect him and then you rescue the earth here to go put it back in its place. So drishtwata daitya hatakena rasatalante, comma samveshitam झटिति कूट किटिर विभो त्वम् दृष्ट्वा तदैत्यहतकेन रसातलान्ते संवेशितां झटिति कूट किटिर विभो त्वम्.
Can I go on? I was talking.
Oh, sure, you can. I mean, yeah, Sundari will go first and then Radha Garu go. I think yeah, you can be next class. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Sundari.
दृष्ट्वाथ दैत्यहतकेन रसातलान्ते संवेशितां झटिति कूटकिटिर्विभो त्वम् दृष्ट्वाथ दैत्यहतकेन रसातलान्ते संवेशितां झटिति कूटकिटिर्विभो त्वम्
दृष्ट्वा दैत्यहतकेन रसातलान्ते संवेशितां झटितकूटकिटिर्विभो त्वम् दृष्ट्वा
झटिति second name.
Okay. दृष्ट्वा दैत्यहतकेन रसातलान्ते संवेशितां झटिति कूटकिटिर्विभो त्वम्
विभो त्वम्. Second vibho, yeah. Okay. Apatu kana viganaya. So that word, if you want to say it together, it is apatu kana viganaya, double ya. If you want to break it, it's apatu kan abhiganaya, but you can't quite say it that way. So apatu kana viganaya surari khetan, comma damstrangkurena. So the ing sound, okay? Damstrangkurena Vasudam adadha, if you want to break it. Vasudam adadhaha is that putta is adadhas salilam. Sorry, somebody had a question?
Sorry, I was about to repeat.
Okay. Apatu kana viganaya surari khetan damstrangurena vasudham adadhas salilam.
आपातु कानविगणय्य सुरारिखेटान् दंश्राङ्कुरेण वसुधाम् अदधाः सलीलम् आपातु कानविगणय्य सुरारिखेटान् दंश्राङ्कुरेण वसुधाम् अदधाः सलीलम्
आपातु कानविगणय्य सुरारिखेटान् दंश्राङ्कुरेण वसुधाम् अददां सलीलम् adadhas salilam. Okay. Apatu kana viganaya surari khetan damshram kurena vasudam adadhas salilam.
Stanza 10. Abhyuddharanna tadaram dashanagralagna mustankurankita ivadhikapi varatma Uddhuda ghora salila jaladherudanchan krida varaha vapurishwara pahirogat. So like I said last time, typically at the end of every Dasakam, Bhattaripat then goes, he summarizes, right, kind of what has happened, and then he requests for removal of a pahirogat. He either says eradicate all the diseases I have, or he says eradicate all the sins I have done, or all the sufferings I have done, or multiple things. And then he uses multiple words to say Guru Ayappan. He say Vatala Ishwara, Marutpuradi Ishwara, multiple words you'll see that keeps coming. So anyway, so here he says, thus, O Lord, you then assume this form of a gigantic boar, which was very frightening, and then as if it was like a play, you came and rescued the earth, and then you came out of the, remember he was in the Garbhodaka ocean where it was displaced, you then came out of the ocean in a majestic form with the earth at the tip of your tusk. So people who have seen the Varaha, photos you might have seen the big boar coming out of the water with the earth at the tip of its tusk. That's what he's saying. You're coming out of it in that form, as if it was just a play. So similarly, you help rescue the earth itself. All I am requesting for is please eradicate my ailments as well. Pahi rogat. Please eradicate my diseases as well. So with that, he completes the Varaha Avataram. Then it goes on. The next chapter, Hiranyaksha Vada Varnanam, is where there's a battle between the Varaha and Hiranyaksha. That is happening in 13th, which we are not covering in this session. So Abhyudharannatha. So double dha, double na coming there. Abhyudharannatha dharam dashanagra lagna, and then put a plus. So the lines 1 and 2 come together. Lagna mustangkurankita, one word. Mustangkurankita iva dhika Pivaratma. Abhyudharannatha dharam dashanagra lagna mustangkurankita ivadhika Pivaratma.
अभ्युद्धरन्नथ धरां दशनाग्रलग्नमुस्ताङ्कुराङ्कित इवाधिकपीवरात्मा अभ्युद्धरन्नथ धरां दशनाग्रलग्नमुस्ताङ्कुराङ्कित इवाधिकपीवरात्मा
अभ्युद्धरन्नदधरां दशनाग्रलग्नमुस्ताङ्कुराङ्कित इवाधिकपीवरात्मान् अभ्युद्धरन्नदधरां दशनाग्रलग्नमुस्ताङ्कुराङ्कित इवाधिकपीवरात्मा
Uddhuta ghora salilaj Jaladher Udhanchan. Jaladher Udhanchan, but you can say it together. Jaladher Udhanchan, comma, Krida Varaha Vapurishwara Pahi Rogat. Uddhuta Ghora Salila Jaladher Udhanchan, Krida Varaha Vapurishwara Pahi Rogat.
उद्धूत घोर सलिला जलधेरुदञ्चन् क्रीडा वराहवपुरीश्वर पाहि रोगात् उद्धूत घोर सलिला जलधेरुदञ्चन् क्रीडा वराहवपुरीश्वर पाहि रोगात्
उद्धूत घोर सलिला जलधेरुदञ्चन् क्रीडा वराह वपुरीश्वर पाहि रोगात् उद्धूत घोर सलिला जलधेरुदञ्चन् क्रीडा वराह वपुरीश्वर पाहि रोगात्.
Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. That completes Dasakam 12. We still have a few minutes, so we'll continue to Dasakam 14. So Dasakam 14 and Dasakam 15 are kind of connected. So it's kind of the same thing is continuing, right? So just take out 12 and 13, but in this case, so 14 is Kapilopakyanam. So I don't know how many people have heard of that, but that is actually the number 5 avataram of Vishnu. So the first avataram that happened is actually the Virat Purusha avataram, which happens where the Lord takes from him, he creates the 14 worlds and he takes the form of a Virat Purusha, which is the 14 worlds himself. 14 worlds, right, that are there, right? So that is the first avatar. That is the first manifestation of the Lord, right? Avataram is just the incarnation and manifestation in some form. That is the first one. Second one is what we saw was the Varaha Avataram, which actually happened. So that is number 2. The third is where he himself is born as Narada to spread the message everywhere, right? So Narada is also one of the very few who are actually there, who have access to Vaikuntham. The very few, Vaikuntham is outside the 14 worlds. Narada is one of the very few because of the reason. So Narada himself is an incarnation of the Lord. And again, like I said earlier, each of these, when he says avataram, is some level of potency. You can think of it as some that way. Some potency of the Lord is taking avataram for a specific purpose, right? So Narada is the third one. Then fourth one, which we haven't seen, is the Narayaneyam avataram, which happens, right? So Narayaneyam, which we'll see in the next session. The fifth avataram which is happening is Kapila avataram, avataram as Kapila. So that's what we are going to see. And the 14th one is talking about the avataram. The 15th one is talking about the purpose of the avataram, what the purpose was for, and the message that the Kapila actually tells to his mother Devahuti, right, at that time, which is very theoretical. Like, you know, the metaphysics level, he talks about everything which is so theoretical, but we'll try to condense it in a simple form to understand the meaning of it, right? But anyway, so 14 is Kapilopakyanam, stanza 1. So this one, like I was telling, there are three main tunes that we are going to see. Okay, one is what we saw in chapter 1, one what we saw in chapter 12, and this is the 14. For somebody who's not as musically talented as me, it all looks the same, but I know people have told me, no, it's slightly different and all that stuff. So you can figure it out. These are the three references that people have used to see later on chapters, right? Which tune it comes in. So,
Rajesh,
yeah.
Is it till 9 o'clock, Andy?
Yes.
This class?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Samanusmrita tavakangri yugmaha Samanuh pankaja sambhavanga janma Nijamantaramantaraya hinam Charitam te kathayan sukham ninaya. So this is again continuing with the Swayambhuva Manu itself, right? So the Swayambhuva Manu, right, like we said, he comes from the lotus born Brahma. It says the Pankaja Sambhavanga. Brahma himself came from the lotus, and from him the Swayambhuva Manu has come. So he is now ruling. He's ruling the Manvantara, like we said, which is the 71 Chaturyugas. So he is then continuing to, meditate on your feet. That's all they all do. They all just spend their time on meditation, right, for thousands of years. So this Swayambhuva Manu also is continuing to just meditate on your feet, with everything going fine, and because the Varaha Avataram has taken care, everything is normal right now, and then he's continuing to meditate on your feet and spending his time. So Samanu Smrita Tavakangri Yugmaha, comma Samanuhu is there, put a F, Samanuh Pankaja Sambhavanga Janma. Samanusmrita tavakangri yugmaha Samanuh pankaja sambhavanga janma.
Samanusmrita tava kangri yugmaha Samanuh pankaja sambhavanga janma.
Sundari, the first line, I think one tha something got missed. Samanu smrita tavakangri yugmaha.
Samanusmrita tava kangri yugmaha.
Tavakangri.
Samanusmrita tava kangri yugmaha Samanuh pankaja sambhavanga janma.
Samanusmrita tavakangi yugmaha Samanuh pankaja sambhavanga janma. Samanusmrita tavakangi yugmaha Samanuh pankaja sambhavanga janma. Sorry, I'm not getting tuned in.
That's okay. No, I think you'll hear it a few times, you'll get it. Next word, I'm going to break it into 3 or 4 parts, if whoever wants it. Nijam antaram antaraya. So that ma that is there. Nijam antaram antaraya hinam. Or you can say the whole thing together. Nijam antaram antaraya hinam, comma. Charitam te kathayan sukham ninaya. So he's living happily. Everything is going fine. Nijam antaram antaraya hinam. Charitam te kathayan sukham ninaya.
Nijamantaramantaraya hinam Charitam te kathayan sukham ninaya. Nijamantaramantaraya hinam Charitam te kathayan sukham ninaya.
Nijamantaramantaraya hinam Charitam te kadayan sukham ninaya. Nijamantaramantaraya hinam Charitam kadayan sukham ninaya.
Stanza 2. Samaye khalu tatra kardamakhyo druhinachaya bhavastadhiya vacha dhrita sargaraso nisargaramhyam bhagavam stvamayutam samasisheve. So some, like I was telling, I think one of the classes, right? Like sometimes the word children in this case, especially in the context of the Indian philosophy, right? The word children, father, and all is used very loosely because there's no other way to say that, right? And so it cannot be literally like, because the way the sequence goes is Brahma first happens, and then Sanat Kumaras, the four Sanat Kumaras come, and then this Narada, all of these people come, Dakshas, they all come, right? So adhe mari the Marichi, whole people. So there's no Saraswati, and by the way, and you learn later also, Saraswati is also not the wife of Brahma. Saraswati actually comes from Brahma herself, right? So from the quote unquote definition, she becomes like a daughter, if you want to use that word loosely. So anyway, so here it says, just like how this Swayambhuva Manu comes out of Brahma, from the shadow of Brahma is another person called Kardama. Kardama Prajapati, that's his other name. So Kardama, he comes from the shadow of Brahma. So from that place, you can loosely use and say he's a son of Brahma, but they are not son or father or any such relationship. He's coming. Brahma is creating. So he first has to create the next set of layers, and then the creation process starts, right? So this Kardama Prajapati is there. And then this Kardama Prajapati, they all are engaged in the process of creation, right? Because there's a lot of other stories. But anyway, so this Kardama Prajapati, when he's also now beginning to meditate, so all of them, Brahma says, you first go meditate for thousands of years, because that's when you will understand what needs to be done. So this Kardama Prajapati, he is also sitting and meditating. But he's not just meditating to understand the truth, he's also meditating with a lot of devotion, because that is what he's been also told by Brahma, that you can't just meditate, that is only half the thing, you have to also have a level of devotion attached to it. So this Kardama Prajapati is sitting and meditating for 10,000 years, right? So Ayutham Samas, for 10,000 years he's sitting and meditating on the Lord. And then because he wants, he's also in love with the Lord, so he's thinking about it, and also he wants to understand the ultimate truth before he can help in the process of creation. So this is happening in parallel when Swayambhuva Manu, everything is going fine, which is what happened in the first stanza. Samaye khalu tatra kardamakyo, druhina chaya bhavas tadiya vacha. Samaye khalu tatra kardamakhyo druhinachaya bhavastadiya vacha.
समये खलु तत्र कर्दमाख्यो द्रुहिणच्छाय भवस्तदीयवाचा समये खलु तत्र कर्दमाख्यो द्रुहिणच्छाय भवस्तदीयवाचा
Vacha.
Samaye khalu tatra kardhamakyo druhinachaya bhavastadiya vacha. Samaye khalu tatra kardhamakyo druhinachaya bhavastadiya vacha.
Dhrita sarga raso nisarga ramyam, bhagavams twamayutam. Twam ayutam, but you can say it together. Twamayutam samaha, put is samas sisheve. Dhrita sarga raso nisarga ramyam bhagavams twamayutam samashisheve.
धृत सर्गरसो निसर्गरम्यं भगवं स्वामयुतं समासिषेवे धृत सर्गरसो निसर्गरम्यं भगवं स्वामयुतं समासिषेवे
Dhruta sargaraso nisargaramyam bhagavam svamayutam samam sisheve. Dhruta sargaraso nisargaramyam bhagavam svamayutam samam sisheve.
There's no im sound there. Samasisheve.
Samasisheve. Okay.
Stanza 3. Garudopari kalamhega kamram vilasatke lisarojapani padmam hasito lasitananam vibhotvam vapura vishkurushe smakardamaya. So, like we said, the Lord himself, Brahman, is formless. There is no form, right? There's only one Brahman. That Brahman is completely formless. There's no form. So now, if you all are meditating, you all are sitting there, suddenly you walk into the room and some person comes in front and says, I am that God that you're meditating on. First of all, you won't believe, number one. And two, suddenly if this person comes with 4 hands or 8 hands and then says, then you'll get scared also, right? So the Lord also knows that, while we all sit in place, suddenly if the Lord comes in front, when you wake up and he's standing right in front of you, you're going to get scared too. So the way the Lord does this, he says, what are you thinking in your mind? Right? And this is what is going to constantly happen, even for Kardama, even for Dhruva, even for Prahlada, for all of them, right? He's like, what is that person thinking? How is that person visualizing me? Right? So when Kardama is sitting and meditating for 10,000 years, he's thinking of some form in front of him. So that is the form the Lord comes in front of Kardama, right? So here the Lord is coming from a Garudopari. You're mounted on the Garuda and you're coming, and then you are in a Chaturbhujam, right? You have 4 hands, and then in one hand you have the Shankh, Chakram, then you have the lotus, then you have the Gada. You are wearing your Pitambaram, you are wearing your yellow silk, veshti at the bottom. Then you have your Kaustuba jewel, you have your Srivatsa mark. So exactly with a Hasito Lasitana, in a very smiling manner, right? So that is what is consistent, it comes in multiple things, because that is the original version that Brahma also saw. So whatever Brahma then teaches his children to meditate, is he also gives that form that he saw in Vaikuntham. So all of them meditate in that exact same way, right? So anyway, so this is what Kardama is also doing. So and then your skin, like your color, is in the color of the beautiful, like Kala Megha Kamram. So like a black rainy cloud. So just before it rains, what the dark color of the clouds are, that is the color you are coming in. Because that is how Kardama is visualizing. So that is exactly how the Lord is appearing right in front of him when he's meditating. So Garudopari Kala Megha Kamram, Vilasat Keli Saroja Pani Padmam. Garudopari Kala Megha Kamram, Vilasat Keli Saroja Pani Padmam.
गरुडोपरि कालमेघकम्रं विलसत्केलिसरोजपाणिपद्मं गरुडोपरि कालमेघकम्रं विलसत्केलिसरोजपाणिपद्मम्
गरुडोपरिकालमेघकम्रं विलसत्केलिसरोजपाणिपद्मं गरुडोपरिकालमेघकम्रं विलसत्केलिसरोजपाणिपद्मम्.
Hasitolasitananam. That whole word you have to say it together. Hasitolasitananam Vibho Tvam. Again, the word Tvam, right? And you'll keep seeing this. Tvam means you, right? So, but that's what he's saying. He's talking to Krishna, right? He's right talking to Guru Ayappan. He's saying you are coming in this form for Kardama, right? Vibho Tvam, Vapura Vish Kurushe Sma Kardamaya. हसितोल्लसिताननं विभो त्वं वपुराविष्कुरुषे स्म कर्दमाय.
हसितोल्लसिताननं विभो त्वं वपुराविष्कुरुषे स्म कर्दमाय हसितोल्लसिताननं विभो त्वं वपुराविष्कुरुषे स्म कर्दमाय
हसितोल्लसिताननं विभो त्वं वपुराविष्कुरुषे स्म कर्दमाय हसितोल्लसिताननं विभो त्वं वपुराविष्कुरुषे स्म कर्दमाय.
The last letter, Radhagaru, Maya, not Maya. Kardamaya.
Maya. Okay.
That's a 4. Stuvate pulakavritāya tasmai manuputrim dhayitam navapi putrihi kapilam cha sutam swameva paschate swagatim chapyanugruhya nirgato bhuhu. So now when the Lord appears, like his pulakavrita, he has horripilation all over his body, because he's seeing whatever he's been meditating for 10,000 years, that person has come right and standing in front of him. So then before he doesn't know what to talk, right? Even we'll be like flabbergasted, not knowing what to open, but the Lord says, don't worry, I know what is in your mind, right? Your intent of this, one is your devotion, you want to attain me, and two also is you want to go on with your duties, which is to expand the creation. So he says, I know what your things are. So he says that the Swayambhuva Manu, who again, remember, he's also from Brahma. Kardama is also from Brahma. He says that Swayambhuva Manu has a daughter. So that daughter is also a very pious and religious person like you, and she's also done a lot of meditation. So that daughter, Swayambhu Manu, is going to come and he's going to offer you that daughter in marriage. So he says, I want you to marry that daughter who is going to come, and then with her, you will get 9 girls, 9 women. You're going to get who are children, daughters, who are going to get married to various sages, and that's how this thing is going to spread, right? And then they all gets married, which will come later. So that's going to happen. That's number 1. Number 2, he says is Kapilam cha Sutam. Sutam means a son. So a boy, a son by name Kapila. Swameva, I myself, a portion of me is going to come in the form of Kapila to be born to you as a son to spread the word of philosophy, right? And that's going to happen. That is a number 2 that's going to happen. And number 3, he says, is all the meditation, all the work you have done. Eventually, you submit everything to me. And then you will then come and merge with me as well once all of these things have happened, because that is your duty right now. Because you have to get these 9 daughters, they have to get married to the sages, that has to go, then Kapila has to be born for a specific purpose. Once all of that is done, then you completely surrender everything that you have done, and then you will come and merge with me. So that is the message he gets. So stuvate pulakavritaya tasmai, comma, manu putrim daitam navapi putrihi. स्तुवते पुलकावृताय तस्मै मनुपुत्रीं दयितां न वापि पुत्रीः.
स्तुवते पुलकावृताय तस्मै मनुपुत्रीं दयितां न वापि पुत्रीः स्तुवते पुलकावृताय तस्मै मनुपुत्रीं दयितां न वापि पुत्रीः.
स्तुवते पुलकावृताय तस्मै मनुपुत्रीं दयितां न वापि पुत्रीः. स्तुवते पुलकावृताय तस्मै मनुपुत्रीं दयितां न वापि पुत्रीः.
कपिलं च सुतं स्वमेव पश्चात्, स्वगतिं चाप्यनुगृह्य, that's one word, चाप्यनुगृह्य निर्गतो भूः. कपिलं च सुतं स्वमेव पश्चात् स्वगतिं चाप्यनुगृह्य निर्गतो भूः.
कपिलं च सुतं स्वमेव पश्चात् स्वगतिं चाप्यनुगृह्य निर्गतो भूः. कपिलं च सुतं स्वमेव पश्चात् स्वगतिं चाप्यनुगृह्य निर्गतो भूः.
कपिलं च सुतं स्वमेव पश्चात् स्वगतिं चाप्यनुगृह्य निर्गतो भूः. कपिलं च सुतं स्वमेव पश्चात् स्वगतिं चाप्यनुगृह्य निर्गतो भूः.
Just do one more and we'll wrap up. समनुशतरूपया महिष्या गुणवत्या सुतया च देवहूत्या भवदीरित नारदोपदिष्टः समगात् कर्दममागति प्रतीक्षम्. So everywhere we'll see this Narada is the number 1 brand ambassador, right? So he first of all he has to go spread the name of Narayana. Otherwise nobody else will know the name of Narayana. That's his number 1 duty. Number 2 duty is he at strategic points he will come and guide people all the way from Kardama or Swayambhuva Manu here to even during Krishna Avataram to come and tell Kamsa what's going to happen. So at various points Narada strategically comes and then he instructs people what needs to be done. So that is what is happening. The Swayambhuva Manu, which is wife Shatarupa, right? And they have this daughter called as Devahuti. That is Devahutya is coming. So Devahuti, and she's also, like we said, right? She's also very religious. Swayambhuva Manu's daughter, of course. So they all of them are just always meditating and praying to you. So Narada comes and tells Swayambhuva Manu that you have to go meet Kardama because that is the instruction of the Lord, because otherwise how will Swayambhu Manu know that the Lord has told this to Kardama, right? So that's what Narada knows everything. So he then goes and tells, and so Swayambhu Manu along with Shatarupa, they go to meet Kardama, who is already expecting him, right? Because he's already, so he's continue, and then Bhagavatam, it says very nicely that although he's meditated for 10,000 years, his body is not weak. If we don't eat for 1 week, we'll be like starving. But he's meditated for 10,000 years, but his body is still shining. So the moment Swayambhu Manu comes, he's so impressed. He can see that this is indeed a very divine person, because it is the tejas emanating out of his body because of him also meeting the Lord as well, right? So Sa Manuhu is there, put a ish, Manush Shatarupaya Mahishya, comma, Gunavatya Sutaya cha Devahutya. Samanushyatarupaya Mahishya Gunavatya Sutaya cha Devahutya.
Samanushyatarupaya Mahishya Gunavatya Sutaya cha Devahutya. Samanushyatarupaya Mahishya Gunavatya Sutaya cha Devahutya.
Samanashatarupaya Mahishya Gunavatya Sutaya cha Devahutya.
Hutya, Devahutya.
Devahutyam Samanashatarupaya Mahishya Gunavatya Sutaya cha Devahutyam.
Sorry, Radha Garu, sorry, the Devahutya ends with the A, not Devahutya.
Devahutya. Thanks.
Bhavadirita Naradopadishtaha. That one word, Naradopadishtaha, comma, Samagat Kardamam Agati. If you want to break it, Kardamam Agati Pratiksham. Bhavadirita Naradopadishtaha Samagat Kardamam Agati Pratiksham.
Bhavadirita Naradopadishtaha Samagat Kardamam Agati Pratiksham. Bhavadirita Naradopadishtaha Samagat Kardamam Agati Pratiksham.
Bhavadhirata Naradopadishtaha Samagat Kardamam Agati Pratiksham. Bhavadhirata Naradopadishtaha Samagat Kardamam Agati Pratiksham.
Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. We'll end the class here. Sandhranandhavabodhatmakamanupamitam kaladeshavadibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam aspashtam drishtamatre punarurupurushartatmakam brahmatattvam tattavad bhati sakshat gurupavanapure hanta bhagyam jananam. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना भा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. Okay, thank you everybody. So I will send this recording as well as the 12th and the 14th MP3 as well, so you can practice. Next class we'll finish 14th and hopefully we'll try to finish 15 also, most of it. Okay.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Bye everyone.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Bye.
Rajesh garu.
Thank you.
Bye.